Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Combat Sports UK. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Armand Herczeg from Oktagon Challenge, of course part of Team Ireland. Armand, how are you doing today, buddy?
Good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, very, very good. Happy to be talking to you, mate. So firstly, one thing that jumped out of me from episode 2, which is what we're going to talk about today, was your cooking skills.
Yes.
What's the signature dish?
That was a Hungarian dish called langosh. It's basically just like a floury bread that you just cook in the oil and fry it all up. We traditionally use it during like the summertime if we go out with family and stuff like that, and then we just throw a bit of garlic on it, some cheese and some sour cream, and we eat away at it. So that's usually the dish. That's what I cook there for the show anyway. So it's something easy to make, and it's very nice as well when it's done right.
Ah, brilliant. And you had kind of a bit of an audience there, right? You had Brian Lacey, Andre and Pavel came along. Did that put added pressure onto your cooking skills, or how did that come about?
They obviously, coming into the show, they knew I was Hungarian and that as well. And then we were talking in the gym one of the days, and I was saying that we were talking about like where we were staying in the villa. It was a lot of the people there could speak Hungarian as well. So a lot of the Slovak people, it was more like a Slovak-Hungarian region. So even when we got lost in the car sometimes, I was translating for us to get back to the villa and everything. So we were speaking there, and I was saying to Pavel and Andre in the gym that I seen there's a lot of langosh stands and everything, and I saying that I can cook it as well. So they got me to cook some as well, and then they came over and tried it. So it was very nice. You know, it made me feel like I was at home for a minute.
Oh, brilliant, man. That's a cool story. And like, what's your signature dish? How did the cooking come to you? Is it something you were kind of brought up with, or did you just take an interest with it? What was the background with the cooking as a whole?
Oh, I've been brought up on Hungarian food, you know, like my mom and dad, obviously being both Hungarian, myself being born there as well. My mom always cooks Hungarian food at home. It's always traditional dishes. So I've grown up on all these. It's something that whenever I have, it obviously reminds me of home as well. So I was happy to make it myself. I had to ring my mother as well to ask her about the ingredients and how to actually do it properly and all. So it was one of them things where it was good to get a bit of contact from them as well.
And how were the other lads in the house with it? How did they react to it? You see a couple of it during the show, but did anybody else try any of your dishes throughout recording on?
Well, throughout recording, I didn't really. I myself can't really cook many Hungarian dishes.
Right.
I think languages. That's it. After that, I'm making like chicken and rice and stuff like that. I did do a good bit of the cooking though. Even if you've seen in episode 1 when Hassan actually eats a piece of my chicken, which kind of sent me a little bit through the roof. I was making a refuel meal for Aaron as well, you know, getting a bit of food into him for his fight and everything. So I was doing a lot of cooking for the boys. Dennis as well, done a good bit of cooking, and so did Maggie. We all did, but there was times at the start of it, I was really enjoying the cooking and all, and then I kind of got lazy with it and was like, oh, I couldn't be bothered doing that much.
And another moment in the show that really jumped out with your character was you talked about the struggles that you'd had leading up to getting the phone call for Oktagon Challenge. So maybe give us a bit of background about that and how the call came about and where you were at kind of personally before the show started.
Yeah, so I was basically retired. Like I wasn't ever going to fight again. I basically just hung around with the wrong group of people and got myself into a bit of trouble. And with that, like I kind of stepped away from fighting. Mentally, I wasn't all there. I was in a very low spot, and just got to the point where, you know, I was like, I'll step away from fighting. I'll actually look to actually start a proper job. I started a carpentry apprenticeship and everything. It was all going grand. And one day I was sitting having a few bottles of Heineken after work, you know, enjoying myself, getting myself get nice and fat and everything. And I got a text off Paddy Houlihan. He was asking me if I could give him my phone number and give him a ring. And then he just gave me a ring and told me about the show. And I was like, right, I will take the opportunity and go for it. If you call me and tell me there's a fight in 6 hours or 7 hours, I don't really care. I'll be hopping straight onto it. The one thing that's in my blood is fighting, and it's always going to get me going.
Yeah, we'll come back to that kind of short notice style that you have in a little bit. So Paddy Houlihan called you up. Obviously, he must have known you previously. He called you up and said, hey, we got this opportunity. And you were just like, yep, put the Heineken down, bang, out for a run, that kind of thing?
Oh, I didn't really go for a run. I maybe did 5 sessions. I did 3 sessions in my gym in Dundalk, and then went twice down to Paddy to train with him a wee bit as well. We were off to Slovakia. It was maybe 10 days before the whole event happened. So,
Wow.
you know, it's one of them things where give me a call whenever when I'm ready. Like if I'm not ready, I'll find out the hard way and I'll be in the cage, you know.
And the show itself is a little different to what kind of combat sports fans might be used to. I think we're all kind of used to the Ultimate Fighter type vibe. Octagon Challenge, there's a challenge each show, Team Ireland versus Team England, and you kind of compete and then you fight afterwards. So the winner of the challenge gets to pick the fight. Going into it, were you kind of aware of what the challenges might be, or was it totally, completely a secret to you guys?
I had an idea. I was like myself and a few of the other boys, like on the Irish team, we looked up the Slovakia challenge one and the German one as well. So we seen ideas of what the challenges were, but we didn't know what to expect going in ourselves and to actually do it ourselves. It was very different from watching it on the YouTube channel of theirs and actually being there in first person and experiencing it.
Yeah, and that's the other side of it. Experiencing the challenges. How was it? Obviously, in the first episode, we had changing tires. In the second episode, and we'll give you a little bit of a spoiler for those that haven't seen it. It was the spray paint. How was it experienced from your side as a kind of competitor and participant in the show?
I don't have like. This is the thing with me. So my own personality is MMA. Anything outside of MMA, unless it's like maybe a crossbar challenge with a football, I'm not going to be doing too well in it. So changing tires and trying to draw on a wall, that's not for me. Like I went there to fight, you know, and that's the way. Yeah. Even in my interviews at the episodes, you see it. I'm telling everyone, challenges are great and it's great crack and it's great teamwork, but we're here to fight. We're here to actually punch the face of each other, and that was my mindset at the whole time. It was like, okay, if we win or lose, it doesn't matter. Either way, we have to fight. So that's what I was really focusing on. It's great experience and great crack, but I kind of more had that as like, right, we'll go train, and then if we do a challenge, that's just like kind of the past time in my head. You know what I mean?
Right. And then you talked about obviously the Irish team. It's come out very clearly, I think, in the first 2 episodes that the Irish team are the troublemakers in the house, the more lively ones, so to speak, the ones that are going kind of after the English a little bit. How fun was it, or how difficult was it being in the house, knowing, hey, I'm going to fight these guys, and just a big match of personalities in there?
I loved it. I love the fact that I get this like live with them as well as fight them. You know, like obviously we've seen from episode 2, it turned out great for me. So I didn't mind sitting back down in the kitchen and looking at Jake and being like, "What's the story, bro? How are you?" You know, because obviously I got the win and I got it in a good way. So it was, for me, it wasn't too bad. You know, I enjoyed living in the house with them. But obviously there's times where like you're sitting there and you're being all pally with them, and the next minute you're like, wait a minute, I actually have to fight this fella, so I can't be too nice to him, because you don't want to be making friends with the people you're going to be hitting either. And I feel like the Irish boys, we went in there and we really just projected our own personalities and we were ourselves. And everyone in Ireland will say, like, all Irish people are messers. They'll talk shite for days and they're trying to annoy you and get under your skins, but really it's just the way we are. And I think that's what we show off in the show. But you have to say the Irish boys are carrying that TV show.
Yeah, I think the personality is definitely coming from the Irish side so far, and it's nice to see. I think a lot of people have got a misconception of, Conor McGregor is the only one, right? But that's just Irish people, right? And you guys are really showing up that personality, and it's really coming through the show as well. Whereas the English lads are kind of being a bit more laid back, so to speak. So you mentioned there you fought Jake McHugh. How was it? I mean, you see from the face off, and you say afterwards, you know, the size. Even Brian Lacey talked about how zoned in you were during the face off after the weigh in and everything like that. What was that experience for you? Like, obviously going out of the house into the wave, into the face off.
Well, for me, like that's my first fight since obviously like I mentally was at my weakest point and everything. So for me, like I was there, and obviously like we have the 25 grand contract on our head and everything. But for me, it wasn't any of that. It was literally just, I was just like, I have fought all my demons and I have been at the lowest point of my life. There's no way that this fella with 2 braided hairs was going to absolutely beat me. I was looking at him and he was looking like my breakfast, lunch and dinner. And I knew I was just going to get the better of him. I didn't think I was going to win the way I won. but I knew there was no way he was going to beat me. So it was just one of them things where there was nothing in a million years that I thought where I was going to lose to him. There was nothing. Like, he would have had to literally kill me. Like I said, I would have had to been murdered by him. There was nothing. And even like in his interview, he said that like I was moving too much or something. I was just itching to hit him a right hook in the face already. Like that's why I'm moving and all. Like step closer to him. But it wasn't like nerves or nothing. I was just itching to fight someone. I had so much energy built up inside me and emotion and everything. I just wanted to get it all out.
And that tees us up really, really nicely. I mean, we're going to go full spoilers now. Obviously, we know the result here. We're going to go full spoilers for the fight. So if you haven't seen it, go back, watch the episode, then jump back here just to hear Armand kind of breakdown of what they put in the show notes as a shocking kind of, I don't know if you'd want to call it an upset, but considering that you took the time off, the way in which you dealt with that fight, like, I think they built it up really well on the show in terms of the grappling versus the striking. So when you saw what actually happened in the fight, it was like, whoa. Like, to me, I was like, whoa, I was pretty blown away. Were you expecting it to go that quickly? Were you expecting to be able to do him in 30, what was it, 33 seconds or something like that?
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, like I think it's my 7th or 6th guillotine finish. So throughout my amateur career, anyone that has really shot on me, a lot of my finishes are guillotines. And it's because the way I strike is like I make people panic and they panic shoot. Whereas you seen with Jake as well, I hit him a left body kick and the next thing he does, he doesn't even set it up. He just shoots for the takedown. And that's happened a lot in my career. So to everyone else, it's like an amazing finish. To me, I'm just kind of bored of it. And I don't want to sound like a prick or anything, but I wanted to showcase more of my skills than I could have. And obviously in 34 seconds, I couldn't do much of that. But I'm glad the way it went. No injuries, no damage or nothing. They had me ready for the next opportunity, you know. So it's just one of them ones where maybe didn't expect it to be as quick, but I did expect the guillotine could have happened. As it's happened so many times, I know it's there in my back pocket. So I personally wasn't as surprised as everyone else is, you know.
Yeah, I have to say, I think what jumped out to me was just the way you held on to it. Like you normally see if guys kind of squirm the way that Jake did, that it loosens or something like that, but you held on to that like an anaconda going after its prey. And obviously, like you said, you've done it 6 or 7 times. Did you feel at any point that, I might be in a bit of trouble and let it go, or were you just like, no, I'm squeezing until he's out?
No, I have a very, like, I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but I have a very different squeeze with the guillotines. I've been told many times from training partners and everything. I sometimes I've been overconfident with it and it's putting me in bad positions, but I'm very confident in it. And even if you like slow down the tape, when I feel like he's moving, I turn him over. I push him over against the fence. I kind of go for like a standing guillotine, but then I pull him back down and I foot sweep him at the same time as he's falling down, and then I lock him up in like a knee shield leg over position where he thinks he can keep climbing away and then he just passes out. All of these are sequences and positions that like I've done a lot of, and I've done with training partners, and I'm very confident in my guillotine and my abilities of being able to finish with it. So it was one of them positions where I knew once I had the hand locked up, even if he gets passed into side control, until he tries to do like maybe a Von Fluke choke on me or he gets his hands in the right position, I'm not letting go, because if I get my legs back and I get into the position, even like a half guard where a lot of people won't finish it, I'm still able to finish the guillotine there. So I'm very confident in it, and if we have a scramble on, I know how to dictate a scramble to benefit me better than the person that's defending, I think, whenever I have a hold of their neck.
And then when you're preparing for the fight, how much, you see you training with Paddy and Shamrock as well, how much prep do you get to do specifically on Jake kind of leading up to the fight? Because as you said, you thought you might be able to get the guillotine from if he shoots him for a takedown. How much prep were you able to put in before the fight?
There wasn't much preparation, to be honest with you. I think I got a little bit into Jake's head, because I remember one of the days in the house we were talking, and I goes, I know exactly what you're going to do. You're going to push me against the wall and try and body lock me and then try and drag me down. And he's like, no, I might shoot on you. And I goes, oh, if you shoot on me, I'm guillotining you. Like, I you know what I mean? And I just felt like it was one of them things where we prepared for positions that he's done on other people, but only minuscule stuff. Obviously, like with 2 days before the fight, you can't really do much. Paddy instead kind of was just like, if you're underhooking someone, turn your hand this way instead of doing it that way, so you can initiate your lats and worked a wee bit on technique and maybe on framing a bit. But like, there's not much we can do. He gave good instructions, and we just worked on a good game plan, which obviously worked out fairly well, and it would have continued to work out. But we just knew that I knew myself, like, if he shot on me, it would have been in trouble anyway. So we got the result that we wanted, and it was a fairly quick one.
Yeah, very, very, very quick. So we know from here that you go to the next stage, but in between the show wrapping up and now, you've actually made your Oktagon debut. We talked about short notice just a little while ago. How was that experience? What kind of happened there? What was the lead up to fighting out there in the Czech Republic?
I got a text and was asked if I wanted to fight someone, and I said yeah. Took the opportunity. It was about 2 weeks out, and I was training, but wasn't training like a professional should be training. I was kind of just more transitioning to like picking up the pace for getting ready for other things and staying ready and active and all. But I felt like I was fit enough, which I learned the hard way I wasn't. You know, if it was a 3-minute round, three-minute round fight, definitely 100% would have been fit. But you know, them extra, what is it, like 6 minutes or whatever it is it just changes the game, and 100% it was very different. So a big lesson from it. You know, I went away and lost on split decision, which some people say I won. I personally think I lost the fight, which I'll put my hand up and admit that no problem. Especially with Oktagon's rules with damage and everything, you know. So I think it was a good opportunity. Obviously, we didn't get the result we wanted, but it was a big lesson, and it's definitely like made me more prepared for the pros. That was the first time, obviously, getting full exposure of the crowd, of fighting outside, fighting 5 minutes properly and everything like that. So it was very good, and it was what was needed. But in hindsight, maybe we don't take the fight and we wait. But I'm an eager beaver, and I love to fight. So if I get told that there's a fella there looking to have a scrap, I'll take it. If they rang me today and said they need someone for tomorrow, I'll be on the plane now.
Amazing. That's the attitude. And we've got episode 3 coming up on Tuesday. So I'll just kind of throw over to you if you've got any shout outs, any sponsors you want to mention, anyone in particular that you want to shout out on the back end of our chat here before we wrap up.
I don't have any sponsors at the moment, so if there is anyone looking to sponsor me, they can get onto me on my Instagram. It's Armand_the_Herczeg. I'll appreciate it. We can get working together. And just shout out to all my teammates, you know, and shout out to everyone that's been supporting me. I'm loving all the messages and texts from everyone. It means a lot. It's lit another fire underneath me, so I appreciate everyone that's watching me and helping me progress even more. So love for everyone.
All right, that was Armand the Crane Herczeg from Oktagon Challenge. Team Ireland versus Team England. Catch him every Tuesday. Obviously, he's into the next round, which will be after these preliminary round fights. And we're looking forward very much to seeing the rest of the season. And we obviously wish you good luck. You know how it went. We don't. We wish you good luck regardless. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. See you, bye.